This here talk, I want to talk about something I know to be true. Just want to document it for my own journal, because something happened this morning, which is consistent with other phenomena that I've encountered that I have no explanation for, and so sometimes upon investigation of things that I don't understand, I hit roadblocks. It has to do with technology. So I'm just going to tell you what happened at 8:59. Tell myself what happened and document it. At 8:59, my phone rang. I was still sleeping. I got up, and by the time I got to my phone, it had already ended the call, the incoming call. And so then I went to the bathroom, and then then when I went to the bathroom, both of my phones were locked. I have so if I'm not on them, they lock, so nobody can just pick up my phone and do whatever they want. But so I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, I seen on my phone my name going across my phone, and since I have two phones, I looked at it, I said, how in the heck can a call be coming in from my own phone? I'm not even using my phone. Both my phones were locked, sitting about 2 feet apart from each other. And so it all happened within a couple of minutes. And so I looked at the phone. That's my other phone beeping. Something about Spectrum updating something. But so what I did is I called up the number that called me first, the one that I missed, and it came up with this automated message, what's your account number? And I said, I don't have any kind of account number. I don't even know who was calling me or anything like that. I just didn't say anything. I waited, and somebody came to the phone, and they said this was ICS. I don't know if they said ICS or IC Systems, but I said, who are you? And they said, we're IC Systems. I said, well, what are you doing? They said, who are you? So they said, they told me, well, I could look them up. I could look them up on the internet. So I just hung up the phone. I didn't tell them who I was or anything like that, but didn't engage in any kind of conversation, because I'm always leery about fishing expeditions, is what they call it, and stuff like that. And so I looked them up, and so this IC Systems is Incident Command Center, and they are. I should have pulled it up, but I think I might have a screenshot on this phone actually. So I don't know. But anyway, it's an emergency response system for multiple agencies to I don't know, make it easier for like incident response, something like that. But it's a platform for multiple agencies to do whatever they want. And I think it has, at least the face of it appears to have to do with some kind of an emergency response system. And so I called up Apple. I said, how is it that one of my phones called the other phone and recorded on my voicemail, since I didn't answer the phone because I wasn't even at my phone until I came and finished using the bathroom and came to my phone and seen my name going across, one phone calling the other phone. And So I called up Apple. I said, I told them I got this call from ICS, and they transferred me to like senior support. And the bottom line of that conversation, she told me, well, yeah, I need to get new eSIMs then, and then see if this happens again. So then what I did is I called up my carrier, phone service carrier, and I requested new eSIMs, which I got. And because that's a certain number. It's kind of like your fingerprint or something for your phone, and that's how it differentiates your phone from every other phone. That's how they do the phone service system. And I did that, but that doesn't answer the question: how could some entity make one of my phones call the other phone? No. And I did that, but that brought to mind as an important topic of I remember it being said more than on one occasion, only don't trust anything you hear, and only trust 50% of what you see. So that's old time wisdom. And I just want to elaborate on this using some of my case studies. Look, a long time ago, I was in graduate school. I was listening to Joseph Campbell on the PBS broadcast on the Power of Myth or something like that. And I think it's called Power of Myth. And I remember him telling the story that he read, in history books or whatever, about when the explorers came to, I don't know if it was coming to America or where it was exactly, but anyway, they came to this place where they're the indigenous, Indians, and the Indians had never seen a boat, like a big ship. They'd never seen that, and so when the ships started coming in, the exploration, the explorers on their ships, the Indians couldn't see them. And the reason they couldn't see them is because they didn't know what a ship was. They couldn't even see them. I guess maybe they couldn't differentiate between. Well, it just simply says, that they couldn't see the ships, right away. I'm sure they've seen them when they're actually rolled up close enough to the beach, but it's just a case in point that sometimes we can't see what we don't understand, and we can't see what we have no label for. Like, if we've never seen it, we might not be able to see it. Look, this is documented in the history books somewhere. But anyway, so that's one thing. That's just one point, all right, as an example. Well, today technology is advanced so far, and technology has advanced, far enough a long time ago that when they started making microscopes and telescopes, you can't see stuff with the natural eye. So you have to use glasses or lenses And that's what a microscope is. It's a lens that magnifies, and they can use microscopes to look down and actually see the structure of a cell, for example. And then that's how they know what one thing is, one element, or one whatever they're looking at, and because of the way that the cell is structured. And so, like, when I get my medications, if whatever the VA sends me, they always send a paper, and on top of the paper it would have a diagram, like, of the cell, all right, like the structure of the cell, and they talk about how all this stuff affects you and everything like that. Every time every medication, I always get that paper from the VA. And so it's an amazing thing. And the whole industry of pills, pharmaceuticals, it's a phenomenal field. I mean, and today they have all kinds of stuff that they say will do things for you, make your make your body work better and stuff like that. And so you take a drug or something and it has an effect on you. It's a little tiny drug, has a big effect on you, and so I just want to say that things are not always as they appear. In fact, hardly nothing is just as it appears. All right, that's why they say, don't believe everything you see, and don't believe anything you hear. But I learned that in graduate study very deeply. I mean, multiple sources kind of pounded that home for me. That things are not always just as they appear, and something called propaganda. Different organizations and even governments will put out propaganda because they want people to believe a certain way. They want, like today, there's a lot of war going on between Iran and Israel. Very, very small, state of Israel, and Israel's acted atrociously for many, many years, and there's a lot to be said about the Muslim world and the Jewish world and the Christian world. They all fight with each other, and these experiences in war are atrocious. I was listening. What I was listening to when I fell asleep to last night was some news reporting on this subject, and so that's why I say you got to go deep if you really want to understand what's really going on. Don't believe everything you hear just because Fox News, for example, says something. They want to put a slant on it. They want the American people to believe a certain thing so that they'll support a certain thing. And so when they blow up a whole country, it was for good reason. They might be coming to that. I mean, we got nuclear and atomic bombs. We'll blow up the world like 16 times with all the nuclear bombs that we got in the world. But that's another case in point. I mean, these bombs, it's all because they know how to go down to the cellular level of things, and fusion and explosions and everything like that. But so the other thing is, so now that's one segment. And another segment here of this talk is we have nanotechnology now. All right. We can program particles. Particles, you can't even see particles. All right. We can program particles to self-assimilate. And so, like today, there's this one place. I sent my daughter a link to this one time about the industry that's exploring this and advancing this technology and this ability to manipulate particles and stuff. You know, it's self-assimilating particles because everything has intelligence, see? And consciousness. You know, a certain type of consciousness. I mean, these are not actually like, you know, robots like made out of steel or anything. With electrical circuitry and stuff like that. These are really tiny things. They don't even have like a battery pack included or nothing like that, you know. Like, I remember one time I was investigating nano cameras. I asked this AI system, I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find any kind of explanation for how they work. They can have a camera like in the head of a screw. And I bought a surveillance detector one time, and it kept telling me that there was some kind of surveillance system in my ceiling fan. And then I took out one screw, like a grounded screw, you know, and because it seemed that I was honing in on that particular screw, and I took it out, and then you know, of course I couldn't see anything, but the thing is, I found out that, and this was consistent with what was going on in my own place here, that some of my electricity was being backfed. Normally electricity, you know, it's alternating current, so you have electrical current going one way, and then anything that's not used goes back on the neutral line and back to the source of the electricity. And so it's back and forth like that. But if you got a bad neutral, then it'll send the electricity through the ground. And I discovered this one time. It was dark in my garage, and I trying to plug in a light, and I got one prong in one thing, but then the other prong wasn't lined up right because I couldn't see. But the lights came on, and that was because it's in metal conduit. And when the other prong of the cord, you know, hit the ground, the light came on. Okay? And so that was because, and then I just redid all. I just stripped down my electrical panels and rewired them and everything, and made sure everything was secure and stuff like that. And it appeared that a lot of my neutrals were loose, like as if somebody had loosened them, and stuff like that. So I had to figure all that out, and I just rewired everything. All right, so I still have some circuits, at least one circuit that I haven't figured out what the problem is yet. But and then, you know, I was just saying, like, you know, in one particular circuit that I'm still having a problem with, somehow, you know, a staple was shot through the outside of my mobile home here, through the right into a wire, like as if it was from the factory or something. I don't know. It seems kind of stupid, but you have codes, you know. You're supposed to protect wires that are going through studs and stuff like that with a round thing, that so if you drive a nail in there, it ain't gonna go and hit the wire. It'll hit that protector before it hits the wire. Okay? And but anyway, you know, so I started studying nanotechnology, and then in that time frame, look, I got in this bottle here, I saved. I had a new well put in. You know, I'm being poisoned and stuff like that. You know, I knew I was being poisoned, and so I had a new well drilled, And in that new, and then I got a water softener, rendered a water softener from Culligan, and then all my distributors and faucet mechanisms and stuff like that, screens and everything. They started getting all clogged up and all that stuff all the time. And I got this water softener, man. It's supposed to protect against all that kind of stuff. I called up Culligan. I sent them all kinds of pictures, Yeah, what's going on here, And so, hey, I went through a heck of a time, man. But this is what it looks like here. So I'm gonna put some in my hand here if I can. Let's see how it is here. Well, maybe. Look here. You know what? Here. I'm gonna take my phone and that stuff. You know what? Here, let me turn the light on here. Maybe you can see it more. You see? That stuff is really weird when it's coming through my water. Dump this back in here. Oh my god. Well, I lost some of it, but I gathered a bunch of it. I had my well. When they dug the well, they left it open. It took them a long time. I don't know to finish. I don't know why they didn't do it quickly, but a couple weeks or something. I mean, they kind of left it open, come back to it, pound down a little further. Well, it's supposed to be 150 foot deep. My other well is only 30 foot deep. Never had any problems with my other well. And this well here started putting out all this stuff, clogged up my all my shower heads, and I was looking in there, and even my surveillance detector, it would go off for this kind of stuff right here. And in my shower head, I'm saying, yeah, go to my shower head with a surveillance detector, and all of a sudden it's going off, like as if there's a nano camera in my shower head. Yeah, I clean them all out and everything all the time, constantly. I'm not saying that they were cameras or anything. Something triggered my surveillance detector to go off, though. And then finally come down to this notion that this stuff here is the stuff that they use in water softeners, and it comes from a certain thing in the ocean that absorbs toxins. And but they've learned how to synthetically make it, and that's what they use now in the generators that are in the salt, is what activates them, see, to do their job. And so then they collect it in the water softener system, and then then you have to clean it out every while, discharge it or whatever, flush it or whatever. But they call it Goldschlager because it's kind of gold, and that's the nickname for it. I can't remember what the actual technical term is anymore, but they call it Goldschlager, and that's what it looks like, what I was told. And so it's kind of weird, I always wondered if somebody trying to poison me with that, poison me and my dogs. It comes through the faucet, I drink it, I drink tap water. I don't buy water or nothing. And when I was studying nanotechnology, I read medical journals and scientific journals, and they have pictures. They can shoot what's called a nanobot through the head of a needle, and put it in your blood, in your blood system, and it can go to your brain. And they can use these nanobots to know what's going on in your brain. So, you can't see these nanobots, but they show pictures of them. They have grippers and everything. They look like little, little creatures. They can swim. They can go wherever you tell them to go, and however they're programmed to function, and they can function at the command of an outside source. It's phenomenal stuff. And in the military, they do a lot of experimentation with all kinds of cutting edge kind of stuff, like mind control, and I can't remember the words that you look it up under, but something called skull to brain stuff, and no, voice to skull. If you look up voice to skull, you might see some of that stuff. And then there's other kind of weapons that they're making that are really, really like high tech. They can, some of the stuff, it used to be fictional, like tractor beams and stuff like that. Well, this is the kind of stuff the military actually is working on. They also work with people that can astral project themselves, and they study all this stuff, but they keep it under wraps. It's just like when they were studying syphilis. They gave a bunch of black people in this one town, they infected them with syphilis in order to study it. See? It's not, and I tell you, as far as like when it comes to like poison, like I also studied poison, and you can be poisoned with a particle. This is a little tiny particle, okay? I'm talking about one part per billion. Okay, you get this poison, 1 part per billion. And I'm talking about really, really small kind of thing goes into your body and poisons you. Yeah. There might come a time, man, if they want you dead. Yeah, you'll get some little tiny thing and kill you. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm not trying to scare anybody who might see this, but it's true. And so, I had a guy that used to come here. Like when I didn't have electricity and stuff like that, I met a lot of homeless people because, anyway, I've just met a lot of homeless people, and I've helped out a lot of homeless people. But this one guy, he said he had 2 monitors. They speak to him in his head, the military monitors, and I asked him if he was schizophrenic and stuff, and he said no, but he was trying to get Social Security or something like that, based on this stuff that he was going through. But he said he wasn't schizophrenic, and he showed me on the internet this kind of stuff about like voice to skull. Well, I don't know really what to make of it. The last time I talked to him, I told him, look, I'm going to put you on a lie detector, and next time you come over, I'm going to put you on a lie detector. I never actually bought a lie detector, but you can buy them on Amazon. Lie detector machine. Put them on a lie detector machine, and he never came back. He never came back here again. Well, Another guy who's dead now, he died of overdose after he got out of jail. Another story in itself. I might tell it sometime. A very traumatic story for me, but had to do with my grandson Bryson. Even affected him a little bit. Because anyway, I text his girlfriend. You know, I realized that he was like planting bugs and stuff like that. You know, or at least that's what I kind of suspected. And she told me, my man can shit bugs. You know, you can make like little tiny cameras, actually, you know, from a camera of a phone, and you can hook them up to a little tiny power source, like maybe like a hearing aid battery or anything like that, or something, you know, and like a little card, you know, that can keep the memory on, so like that, and make it really small. Nobody ever see it and stuff, you know, and then it can hold like a lot of data. It can come on only for motion and all kinds of stuff. You know, if you study I think Arduino or something like that, there's platforms for developing this kind of stuff, and I would like to learn it, but I didn't really have time right now. But anyway, I just wanted to document right here, you know, nothing is just as it appears. All right, you always got to be aware of that very little is just as it appears. In fact, you know, in our spectrum of sight, you know, we only see like a very small fragment of the range of what can be seen in the field of perception. Dogs, for example, or bats or other kind of creatures, you know, they can like see in the dark, and they can see different spectrum colors, like the ray, you know, I don't know, blue ray, you know, different rays and stuff like that. And there's just a lot of stuff, man, that is bewildering because we can't see it with our eyes. So it behooves us to go deep, find out. Don't take things at the surface level. Try to go deep and understand. You'll be amazed. So, all right, that's it. Bye.